So we were horrified by the fact that government had given Shell a piece of the ocean to explore for oil and gas, but has not spoken to us. We said that's illegal. In terms of our law in South Africa, any development must be preceded by public participation. That has not been done. The reason why we were challenging this was because we were saying, if government gives Shell this permission and Shell goes ahead and the oil is found in our ocean, then when Shell starts mining, we are likely to experience oil spills in our ocean, which is going to affect our livelihoods, because people fish from the ocean. People collect fish, crayfish, oysters, limpets, all sorts of things. But also, for people training to be traditional healers, certain ceremonies are done on the beach before sunrise, because we believe our ancestors are resting in the ocean. So it was again affecting our belief system. We believe the spirits of those who have passed on, they get into the rivers, they travel down to the ocean, and they rest in the ocean. The most ancient, who are the guardians of our indigenous knowledge, are there. That's why traditional healers need to go to the ocean. So the ocean is a very sacred space.
Having young people involved in many or in any mobilization, in any campaign, that will give you strength. The young people will go and then they will make a lot of noise, which is a positive noise. And also mobilizing all the media platforms or all the media houses that we can mobilize, so that they are aware and then they know the story. To go out to the beach to do the cleanups. While we're doing the cleanups, we do campaigns. We have placards saying no to Shell, no to mining, and everything. We captured a lot of content. Not everyone will go to the court. Only few people will go there. So, but capturing every voice from everyone that we can find around our community, so that we have the power. And then also mobilizing communities that are outside our community, so that they can be aware, because Shell was not only in Amatiba, was not only going to survey actually in Amatiba, but the whole Mpondo and Wild Coast. So we mobilize all the people.
All the international media, your Al Jazeera, your Sky News, your CNN, so they were all in our coastline to come and film what was happening. We would receive these requests through calls, through emails. So we would use different villages. Each and every time a certain TV company, media company comes, we'll go to a different village and we invite the fishermen, the fisherwomen. Women collect mussels and crayfish. The men, they fish. So we get those fishermen and fisherwomen to come and join us, so that when they interview, it's not just us as activists, but it's also the elders in the community who have lived off the ocean, to tell the story of how the ocean is a source of livelihood. I'm an indigenous person. I know the customary laws of my people. That in terms of customary law, you cannot give somebody a piece of the ocean without consulting us. Lawyers, they don't understand the customary law. So it's our responsibility as indigenous people to brief them. I also know, as indigenous leader, I know that in the United Nations, there is a permanent meeting in the UN, where there are declarations for indigenous people, the right to self-determination. Now, when we are not being consulted, they are taking a right which United Nations has declared on. So I took the lawyers in my founding affidavit from the customary law to the national law, the National Environmental Management Act, to the Constitution of South Africa, in terms of what, when they argue my case, I'd like them to consider. In terms of international law, to say these are the declarations by United Nations for indigenous people's rights. And then the judgment came 3 months later on the 1st of September that we have won. And even the costs for all our legal teams were awarded to Shell. If you know, you have got knowledge, and you choose to be silent, and you know that the knowledge you have is the knowledge that you can speak and share with the people, it would help people, it would protect people, it would protect the planet, it would protect the environment, but you choose to be silent because you are scared of dying. I think that's how you end up in hell and not go to heaven. When you are an environmental defender, a human rights defender, your life is always in danger. What I often say is that I'm going to die anyway. So let me use the opportunity whilst I'm still alive to say everything I want to say, so that when I'm dead, I will continue to speak. Because if I say everything in front of the cameras, there are documentaries and all of that, and I speak to the media, that means even when I'm dead, I will continue to speak. So therefore we speak because we speak the truth, because what we stand for as activists is much more bigger than what an oil giant like Shell stands for. Shell stands for profit. I stand for human rights. I stand for environmental rights. I stand for livelihoods. I stand for this planet. So that's something bigger. You must be hard on the problem, not on the people. No single community would have everyone agreeing. You will always have people who have got a different view. How do we deal with those people? You state the facts. When you start insulting people and all of that, it doesn't help you. It doesn't take you anywhere, because you're going to be fighting. You're going to be burning each other's houses. Be hard on the problem. State exactly what is wrong with the proposed development. Be very clear. Be factual. We also did our research to find out who is Shell. And we found out Shell has been operating since the 1950s in Nigeria, in the Niger Delta. And in Niger Delta, from the 50s up until today, we found that in 2020, 2021, 2022, there were 200 oil spills from the operations by Shell. And we used that in the media feeds to say Shell is polluting Ogoniland. Niger Delta, people cannot fish anymore. They cannot grow crops anymore because of Shell. So how can we therefore allow Shell to come here and start other oil spills in our land? We are indigenous people. We are reliant on the natural resources. So our messaging was such that Shell cannot deny it. We were putting facts out into the media. God created us to have one mouth and two ears. That means we must listen more than we talk. Knowledge rests on your land, in people, and you need to go and dig out the knowledge. In the community meetings, I'm somebody who goes there to listen and make sense of what the elders are saying. We need sangomas, the traditional healers, to write affidavits to tell that the ocean ancestors are there. The judges, they don't know that. They've got to hear it from the traditional healers who go to the ocean, because in their dreams, they actually get visited by the ancestors. The ancestors, they say something. When people are sick, they take people to the ocean for cleansing and for healing. So therefore, they are critical as a source of knowledge. You see, and they must talk about even what they hear and they learn from the dreams. Because the courts, the lawyers, they don't study that at school. Because the court will have to listen. The court cannot argue when you bring an affidavit from a spiritual leader. So it is important, therefore, as an activist, to understand your culture. Is the depthness of the knowledge, understanding, getting to understand your spirituality, your heritage, is the power.